Hey guys, welcome to this week's Hot or Not Thursday. I have in front of me and all over my face the Graveyard Girl collaboration with Tarte Cosmetics. This is the Swamp Queen palette. I've had this for a while and I didn't think that I was actually going to sit down and get around to doing this Hot or Not, but so many of you guys still, even though I believe this is sold out online a lot of places, I do know that I saw it at my Sephora. So I think in stores you can still track down this palette, but it's been sold out. I mean, it's doing well. It certainly does not need my endorsement. Graveyard Girl is a huge personality and giant channel here on YouTube, and she did this collaboration with Tarte. I think it's a really awesome collaboration. The colors are very unique. There are 9 shadows, 3 face products. You get a brush. We're going to go through every single shade, and I am going to do brush swatches as well. I do want to mention with the whole brush swatching thing, a lot of people are like, ew, that color's crappy. Look how much it doesn't have pigment. It's awful. Your finger is always going to pick up more pigment. That's just how it is. That's why doing a brush swatch is kind of an added element to see how the pigment actually picks up onto a brush and swatches off, but how it builds, how it blends. You don't necessarily want all of your colors to be like this intense, opaque pigment. Would you want to go in your crease and have the color already be just so intense that you can't blend it out, you can't build? So sometimes it's not about the intensity of the color, it is more about how even the pigmentation is. Does it build? Does it blend out? Is it powdery? Is there a lot of, patchiness? There's just so many things to think about beyond just, is it one good swatch? So please keep that in mind. I am wearing so much of this on my face right now. My entire eye look is all from this palette. We're gonna go through all of that. I will drop in inserts of me trying on this palette. And there were a few shades, I have to say, that were a big, huge struggle. So I definitely have some pros and cons and favorite parts of this palette and other parts that I personally don't like, but we're gonna get to all of the details. Also, it's Thursday and I have a hot product of the week. I used it to get ready this morning and you guys definitely want to check it out. I will be over hanging out in the live chat on Style Code Live tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Come say hello. The link will be in the description box below. Let's hop straight into swatches and just get going on the colors row by row. Let's start with what we have for the eyes. The whole palette through and through, Swamp Queen with the gator on the front, with the wings, with, the whole kind of faux wooden vibe of the palette. Everything is so Graveyard Girl. It's so bunny. I really enjoy it, and it's a nice sized palette. It's not giant where you're like, crap, I can't take this with me, but it is nice sized. So you open this up and you do get, oh hi, there's my desk. You get a giant mirror, which made it really nice when I wanted to get super close and kind of check things out. Doing my makeup with this morning. I also love the little quote in here. It says, believe in yourself, love yourself, embrace your individuality. I think it's really cool. It just reminds us that we're all unique and that we all have something to offer and there isn't one cookie cutter standard of beauty. So I love that. I love the little quote. It makes me happy. Going in here, you have 3 face products on this side that are larger pans, and then you have 9 shadows. Now, each of these are lined up where you could do, look 1, look 2, look 3. But really, you can kind of mix and play around with everything in here. Everything kind of meshes and works well together. And there's a lot of thought as far as what's shiny, what's matte, crease colors, transition colors. You really have a lot that you can do with this palette. It's $45. I think you get a lot for your money. Ooh, what's with my hair? For the most part, the pigmentation, blendability, all of that stuff is awesome. The colors themselves are awesome. There are a few that I had a hard time with, and I'm going to show you why and what I did to kind of figure out my hard time and make it work. But let's just start with the shadows and go through the swatches. So up at the top, we have hashtag SFS. This is a really beautiful neutral. Now here's the thing, you could actually highlight the face with this. It has such a soft kind of candlelit glow, whereas Gator Wings, which is the actual highlighter in the kit, you can see right next door, is like, boom, highlight from outer space, like crazy highlight. That's what this one is. But if you wanted to highlight and have just like a soft, subtle candlelit glow, you could totally do that with this eyeshadow. But all over the lid, it's gonna be really beautiful as well. It's just soft. It's just nice and soft and satiny and has just the right amount of shimmer, but it is a total neutral shade. Next door, you have Natural Peaches. This is what I used in my crease today. And when I've done other looks with this palette, because I have used this more than just for this look, I think I even used it during a snap tutorial. But this one, Natural Peaches, every time I've used this palette, that is what I use as my transition. It's a beautiful warm transition shade. Just helps you to kind of blend everything that you're gonna put on the lid, that you're gonna put on the outer corner, that you're gonna deepen up in the crease. It just kind of helps everything to work better. So that's a really beautiful transition shade. Then you have Dog Man. This one's freaking fantastic. This is one of my favorite shades in here because it is orange and rusty, but it is not, it's like still neutral somehow. It still works with so many different tones. You can actually get away with working this color into a cooler toned look, and it adds the right amount of warmth without kind of pulling you in two directions. It's also really smooth. It's not overly powdery. It doesn't kick off a lot of dust. You just need the tiniest little dab. But if you remember to just use a dab and not go too crazy with it, you're gonna end up with like a beautiful, beautiful extra kind of something for the crease that will add a lot of dimension. You could use this as a liner. You could use it all over the lid. You have a lot of different ways you can use this because it's not just your bright red or bright orange. It's a little bit toned down, still really vibrant, but kind of like those two elements mixed together. It's just a beautiful, beautiful shade. Then you have Big Baby, which is just a nice neutral kind of matte color. This is pretty typical of any palette. You want to have something that you can put all over the lid. You want to have something you can highlight the brow bone with if you don't want to go crazy with shimmer. And that is what this shade in my mind is for. Now next door you have Sassy Bun. This is so special. This is what's on the center of my lid right now. I first applied it dry, and then I applied it a little bit heavier with MAC Fix Plus, just kind of in the center of what I applied on the center, if that makes sense, as a last step to really add a nice glow to the eyelid. And I think this is a beautiful bronze shade that is not too yellow. It just has a nice brightness where it's golden, but it's like true coppery bronze. I love it. Then you have Sippy Sippy. This one, not my favorite. I'm not a big fan personally of micro glitter in darker shades. It's not my thing. I feel like it kind of throws off my eye sometimes, but that could just be me. It's not my favorite. I like this color. I wish it was just straight chocolate without all of the micro glitter. I find that sometimes that just makes it harder to blend. So this one I don't reach for that much. All right, now we have the bottom row, which is what I used today, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say Haunting actually I didn't use. This is just exactly like Big Baby, but more of a lilac shade. This one is very smooth. It's a very soft color. I haven't used it on my lid though. Moving next door, what I used today all over the lid was Uncommon. Now this is a super, super powdery shade. If you can control this shade, it is beautiful. But I do want to emphasize it is one of these shades that you're going to put on the lid, and the pigment, as you blend more into the crease, it's going to move. It's going to fan out further than maybe you want it to. So a little bit goes a long way. You dab your brush in there and it kicks off a ton of dust. Now the color itself, I love. I'm wearing it. I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, ooh, I love my eye look today so, so much. But I would say in the future, I probably would not use as fluffy of a brush. I would maybe use my finger and pat it in. I just had an issue with it blending everywhere, so it wasn't my ideal kind of purple satin shade for the lid, which is unfortunate because it is such a pretty color. Another way that you can work around that is to do your eyes first, and I'll show you that I did clean up the edges and now it looks great. But this is one of those, again, that just kind of wants to do its own thing. Now next door, Mancat is a beautiful deep plum royal purple. It's matte, it's gorgeous. I love this shade. It was so tough to blend. It was a very, very patchy shade. I felt like, am I doing something wrong? I'm not sure. I used a Haku Hodo brush to blend which is like the Rolls Royce of brushes, and I can make any eyeshadow work with the Haku Hodo brushes. So I was surprised that it did not blend out as easily as I would have liked. It is still a pretty color. I preferred using it on a flat brush, grabbing a lot of the product and just pressing it on the lid, but fanned out in the outer crease, it just wanted to be patchy. It didn't want to blend, and I just didn't like it for that. So those are the shadows. Now let's move on to the blushes. You get the shade Sweet Tea, which really could be a beautiful crease color. You could use it absolutely as an eyeshadow. I don't think this shade would look that great on me as far as blush goes, but on deeper skin tones, I can see how this would be excellent. I love the idea that a palette like this, especially when it's a collaboration and a lot of subscribers are going to be picking it up. When a palette contains colors that will work for a variety of different skin tones, I love that. So this, not the best for me, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, hey, I could use it as a crease color. So, you know, cool. Then we have Does This Thing Really Work? Which sadly, I think I got too much blush on my brush and it was patchy. I'm gonna give it another go. When you swatch this, it blends out beautifully. So I'm like, dang it, what did I do wrong? I think I just need to use a little bit less, even though I just kind of went boop, boop. I didn't use a ton of product. I didn't like grind it in there hard. So this is very, very pigmented. Keep that in mind. A little bit goes a long way. It is a very berry toned flush. So you're gonna get that like, I just ran around the block, like nice flush. It's not peachy, it's not shiny. It is just a straight berry toned flush. So moving down, my favorite part of this entire palette, I kind of want to like depop this and put it in a palette of my favorites because this is just such an awesome highlight. Gator Wings is the most beautiful shade I have come across in a long time. It is worth it if you love highlight as much as I do to pick up this palette just for that. Even if you're like, I don't really need all those eyeshadow colors, this highlight is so special. I'm in love with it. It is intense. You can use this on the inner corners like I did today, under the brow bone. I have it on the cheek. I definitely want to use this on the lid. I'm in love with this color. When I open the palette, my eyes just like, they go straight to Gator Wings. So that shade is awesome. I mean, look at my glow, right? I'm extra glowy and I love it. And it didn't make my skin look all bumpy or weird. All right, so that is the Swamp Queen palette. I hope that this gives you a better understanding of what the colors do, what they are, how they swatch, how they apply, and I love the colors so much, and that highlighter is unreal. So I'm gonna say this is a hot palette. I hope that this review with swatches, pros and cons, helps you to decide whether you want to try this one out or not. And I hope you're having a fabulous day and that I see you tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on Style Code Live. I would love to hang out with you in the live chat. Link will be below. And that's all I got for you. I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Mwah.